I did have a feeling this was going to work in some way. I even had a feeling that it was possible that it would work spectacularly. So it didn't astound me that people responded the way they did. There's a feeling in the air sometimes. It's very, very rare. But there is sometimes a feeling in the air when you're making a movie that this just has that extra, there's a kind of electricity. You just know that the imagination, whether it be the director of photography, the designer, they're working on a particular level. And so I would have been astonished if it had not hit the spot. I feel so much a part of this whole thing now, and of this whole world, that I couldn't have contemplated not coming back. I mean, having read that, I'm shot in the head and I fall down, and you don't normally come back from that. Any sane person would think that's done. But I just felt so involved that I suppose it was a form of denial that I would ever be just out of it. And I still have it now. I mean, this will come to an end sometime. But as far as I'm concerned now, it's a part of what I do. He does have quite a lot of room to maneuver because it's comic book. The tone of the film buys him a lot of sort of, people's, I suppose, they'll forgive a lot of implausibility. We have bulletproof suits and, polonium laced knives coming out of shoes, and which you wouldn't be able to get away with if the film were more earnest. So I think the kind of larger-than-life comic book flavor meant that you can get away with quite a bit more, but you can't push that too far. He does make use of a lot of familiar popular culture themes. When he's done with it, it's his, because he's messed with it. He's subverted it a little bit. So you can look through the first movie and say, I see something of Bond, which is the first comparison people make. But maybe, there's a hint of Austin Powers. Maybe there's a hint of, the Harry Palmer movies with Michael Caine. Maybe there's a hint of Sherlock Holmes, Star Wars. Bit of the superhero stuff, and then it has its roots in comic book. But he, in a way, he might shamelessly steal from something, but then he puts a twist on it, which means that I know this is familiar to you. I know this image is recognizable to you, but I'm just going to mess with it. And we all get it because we've all seen it. We've all seen those comic books. And so I think he's got a real ability to tap into some commonly familiar thing, and then just have fun with it. Working with Elton John was a highlight of my life, because it's thrilling just to meet him anyway. I mean, I'd met him a couple of times before, and I am a fan. And just, he's a joy to have around. He was a great sport. He's very, very funny. And so up for the spirit of this thing. I mean, it doesn't sound like anything makes him blush. You couldn't help but be aware of the scale of it, more than anything I'd ever done. Big sets, Poppyland, it really was what it looked like. It was quite something to step onto. Anyone who came to visit that set just thought, wow, I mean, this is not, that's not CG. This is the scale that you're looking at is what we actually had. And a huge amount of time spent on it, because a fight like that, from a technical point of view, is a real mountain to climb. And it was not, we were working with more than one unit a lot of the time. I think we certainly had 3. We may even have had 4. Second unit, split units, stunt units, and I wasn't always sure which one I was going to be on that day. And I didn't know whether I'd be on the main unit with Matthew, or whether we'd be doing some extra stunt pieces that we still needed with a second or third unit. And if I was with a second or third unit, whether I was going to be with these stunt guys or this stunt team. But frankly, I felt sufficiently integrated to the whole thing that whoever I was working with, I had a relationship with. I knew them. We'd been practicing stuff and we'd trained for things. And the surprises only usually came if Matthew was there. I've really have been quite exhilarated by, because I've led, on a physical level, probably a fairly quiet life. And this has been, at my advanced years, a shot of adrenaline I didn't see coming. So I've actually been quite exhilarated by the personal risk factor